I didn't even
Call the meeting back to order. Are there any, having already done the Pledge of Allegiance, are there any citizens' comments? Seeing none, we will move on to special recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We're very fortunate. We have two extremely bright young women in our midst this evening with their moms. So each being recognized. The first one is the Worcester County Superintendent's Association. Each year, there's a luncheon that takes place. This year will be at Holy Cross College. And a student is selected to join Mr. Handfield and I for this luncheon. So I'd just like to read to you, the first recognition is for Emily Focus. And as you saw in your packet, but I will read them aloud to you, she has made tremendous accomplishments. Emily currently has a 4.982 GPA and is currently number one in her class of 163 students. She's a recipient of the Wellesley Book Award. She's an Auburn Public APS scholar. She takes 6 advanced placement courses. She's a member of the varsity math team, manager of the varsity football team, a Relay for Life team member, literary magazine contributor, participated in the Spanish exchange program, and her favorite quote, which will be posted, and they read the vitae about each student that day, is "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So on a personal level, Emily has applied restrictive early action to Stanford, early action to Boston College, UMass Amherst, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, Northeastern, and Rutgers. She's also applying regular decision to Boston University, University of California at Berkeley, University of California at Los Angeles, University of Pennsylvania, and lastly, University of Southern California. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Emily Focus, who may have an update about college. I don't know, or not. But if you want to go to the podium and have some numbers. You can't have those many accomplishments and not be willing to say so few words.
So as far for college right now, I got accepted to Rutgers. I heard back about a month ago. For my other schools, I'm waiting to hear back. I should be hearing back soon, so I've been checking the mail every day, but so I should be hearing back soon, so
That's
we'll
great.
see.
That's great.
Any comments or questions from the committee?
Just want to congratulate you. It's
Thank
great.
you.
And I guess Auburn's going to be well represented somewhere else.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You should be very proud, Emily. So where would you like to go, ideally? Give us
I
a
don't-
top 3.
Top 3, well, if money wasn't a factor, my top 3 would probably be UCLA, University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and maybe even UMass as my third, so we'll see.
Well, that's
That's
reasonable.
great.
Yeah, I think
great.
so.
Well, excellent. We're
great.
very proud of you, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Great.
Congratulations, keep up
Yes.
the good work.
The next recognition is the Mass Association of School Superintendents, a Certificate of Academic Excellence. And this one is awarded to Megan McQuarrie, who is second in her class of 2015. Megan has been the recipient of the Harvard Prize Book for the class of 2015. She earned a History Scholar Award in her sophomore year. She also participated in the Spanish exchange program. She's taking 4 AP courses in her senior year. She also took 4 courses in sophomore and junior years and is an international club member. I do want to note on here for both of the girls, when I get the information from guidance about them, there are so many really accomplished, hardworking students, but certainly I can tell you that Emily and Megan deserve our praise, as do their moms and families, because it's always a team effort. So, Megan, if you want to go to the podium, if you want to share with us a little bit about your college plans.
That's a good question. Well, I have not applied yet. I'm still looking into colleges, and right now I'm looking at Amherst College, Wesleyan, Brown, and Columbia. Those are my top right now, and then UMass Amherst as well. So I'm not sure where I really want to go yet or what I want to do, but it's what I'm thinking about right now. So.
That's great.
Excellent.
That's great.
Congratulations.
Any comments?
Yeah, again, great job and congratulations.
And whatever school you choose, I'm sure they're going to be very lucky to have you.
We'll be expecting to hear that top three.
Yeah.
Accepted to all of them, I'm sure.
And if I may, just as a final footnote, had the great pleasure of having both Megan and Emily as students at Bryn Mawr School. In fact, I think I was there when you were kindergartners, first and second graders, so. Yes, exactly. Let's
So
not make
you're
the
responsible for
connection.
this.
That was not my point. My point was the age and stuff, so. They've grown into two beautiful young women, so congratulations.
And you should be very proud of your daughters. It's really-
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for coming tonight and wish you all the best in the future and keep us posted.
Great.
Have a
Great.
great night.
So this is a night that we're fortunate to share lots of good news on top of what we've learned and what I've shared about Emily and Megan. The girls varsity soccer team, I wanted to make you aware that I was recently informed that they've been voted the 2014 Sportsmanship Award. This is a tremendous award. I think that our student athletes, just as our students academically, really excel. And I think that's wonderful and they're great memories for them. A sportsmanship award really speaks to the respect level that we have and instill in our students. So I wanted to congratulate them. They had a fantastic season athletically, and they will be recognized in an upcoming sports banquet. That's awesome. Also, the girls varsity field hockey made it to the state stage again. They were unable to defeat Watertown. But I would say that they were an extremely worthy opponent. A game was played on a Sunday at WPI, and I was happy to be in attendance. Watertown at that point, I'm actually not sure what I wrote here, if it was their 138th or 139th consecutive win that day. An absolutely dominating team. Our girls actually played them a couple of years ago as well. But congratulations to all of them. They certainly made us all very proud.
Any comments? I would just like to say, sometimes in the grand scheme of things, we overlook the sports teams because we're somewhat spoiled here in Auburn with all the success that we've had. And I'd just like to say to all the coaches and all the players, as well as the athletic director and the entire athletic department, that fantastic job year after year. And most importantly, as Dr. Brunel just said, we're well represented off the field as well. On and off the field, the students, to get that sportsmanship award, that's
awesome.
That's the icing on the cake. But sometimes we do overlook the success that we've had only because we've had so much of it. But thanks to all the students for exhibiting sportsmanship, and thanks to all the coaches for getting him to almost always to the districts, and certainly whenever you get to the state level, that's quite an accomplishment.
And if I may, just through the chair, Mr. Garner was always quick, as am I, to recognize and thank the youth sports coaches, because it really starts, there's so much collaboration as students build, and the opportunities that kids have, not only academically, but even beyond the school day, athletically, musically, in terms of the fine arts is great, and really a tribute to all of those volunteers, so great job.
Absolutely.
And then the final special recognition this evening, I actually had shared with you a couple of years ago, we had another student whose artwork was published in the Marble Collection. And as noted in here, the Marble Collection is a nonprofit organization. It publishes it's the only publication Massachusetts statewide, print and online, of the arts that features jury-selected artwork. So this is by their peers determining the best artwork, writing, poetry, photography, and music by students. So I want to recognize Anissa Shirzai for earning this. It really is an honor of distinction and speaks to her artistic ability. And prior to the most recent trimester concert held at the high school, they had a display of artwork there. I was able to see hers as well as a number of other students, and we really have some tremendously talented students artistically as well, too.
That's great.
It is.
Any comments? All right, we now move on to the students' representatives report. Taylor Fulkrod and John Champagne.
Taylor couldn't be with us tonight because she is luckily on vacation in Florida, so
Oh, nice.
I'm sure we all wish we were there. So first thing, so last week was the start of a new try. We do 3 tries at Auburn High School, and first try went really well for everyone, I would say. So we're just getting to the swing of things now. Last Wednesday, before our short break, we had our traditional Thanksgiving assembly, where all 4 classes came up with a skit, and we performed them, and everyone did pretty well. We won, seniors won. I have to say that. As Brunel said, the fall sports did very well this year. Field hockey making it to the state finals, and soccer making it to the districts pretty far. So that was a good job. All the sports teams did well as well. So now we have the start of our winter sports. Tryouts have been going on all this week, and I think next week for some of them. But so looking forward to some basketball games, stuff like that in the upcoming weeks. And then so I'm with NHS, and we have a couple of projects going on. One is we're raising donations for soldiers overseas, and we've been packaging boxes that we're gonna send to them. We've also adopted 3 kids from families, and we've been raising. We've been collecting presents to give to the kids on Christmas, toys and puzzles and stuff like that. And then lastly, I thought I really wanted to mention how there was a freshman, Hannah, at our school that was recently diagnosed with cancer. And so as a helpful benefit to her family, our school's been selling Hugs for Hannah bracelets to help raise money for her family, because it's expensive, it is. And so I thought I'd like to mention her, and just so everyone would maybe help out. And that's it.
And that's it. Excellent, John. Doing some good things. Any comments?
Can you share more about the bracelets? How much are they, and how do you get them and stuff?
I don't actually know. I know I believe I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know Hannah personally. I just hear on the announcements every day, and they're selling them. I believe they're $1 or $2 maybe, but I'm sure if you called someone at the school, they would know. I think it's a part of the freshman class selling them, because she's a freshman, and if I could get more information for the next one, that would be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be
That would be
good.
good, please.
Thank you, John. Great job. I would now seek approval of the minutes from November 12th and 13th. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote. We now move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item I want to make you aware, as they have done annually, the Auburn Webster Lodge of Elks has provided a dictionary to every 3rd grader in Auburn. They also do it to surrounding communities as well. They've been doing this for years. We're extremely thankful for their generosity, and it's my recommendation that you accept the donation.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
Great.
Now, are those dictionaries for them to take home, or?
They are
Oh.
for them to keep.
Oh, that's
Yes,
wonderful.
They are, yes. The next item, wanted to make you aware, I had shared this with you last year. We had the opportunity to participate in, with the Department of Ed, excuse me, it was a sciences implementation of Title I and Title II. Those are grant programs that we have. And there was the opportunity to contribute into some study, some data that we provided. And as thanks for that, the Auburn Middle School had some staff participate, and they received a check for $165. So it is my recommendation that you accept this, and we would put it in the Auburn Middle School gift account to be used for reference or classroom support materials.
I entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is a vote.
The next 3 items, actually, I wanted to make you aware of grants that have recently been written and submitted. As you know, we work very hard as a district to minimize the impact to the operating budget. And one way we do that is through writing grants, and we use them as offsets or to bring in additional programs. So I wanted to make you aware that the Academic Support Allocation Grant, the 632 grant, has been written in the amount of $6,700. These are funds that actually are used to help support students at the high school level who are having a challenge passing MCAS. So we've not yet been notified on these yet, but I wanted to make you aware because a lot of time and energy goes into writing these. The next one, the innovation grants. These are really for continuation grants at the middle school and high school. We have the STEM Academy at the middle school and Freshman Academy at high school. So grants in the amount of $15,000 at the high school and nearly $15,000, $14,996 have been written, and we're hopeful that those will be approved. And then finally, this is an opportunity actually in response to the park assessment that's going into place. And there's been a strong commitment at the state and federal level to provide funding to support infrastructure. The funding is not to be used to actually purchase iPads or laptops, depending on what a school may be doing, but it can help with the infrastructure. So what we wrote this grant for was Mr. Barber, Mr. Fahey, Mr. Bouvier, and myself, as well as Dr. Lozay, was to really strengthen the electrical infrastructure of the 10 Swanton Road School, which will be a great help to us because we're putting other funding into that. We were notified that what Auburn would need to do is do a 30-70 match. So for every $3 that Auburn can show that they're spending, and you can show you're purchasing iPads with it, they would give us $7 for that. So we're not yet certain if this has been funded. We did apply. We're hopeful that we'll hear from them soon, but that grant was in the value of $170,000 in total. So could be very helpful to us in
Yeah.
the school. Yeah, so just wanted to make you aware, and to thank all of the individuals who have written these grants. It takes a lot of time and energy, but there's the potential to reap some great rewards.
Any comments?
Yeah, through the chair. Do we have, like a timeline on when we would find out about that money?
Generally, the grants may have said, the academic support grant, we should be hearing, if we've not yet heard on that, very, very soon. That was probably the first one to go in. The Innovation Schools grant, I would think perhaps by January at the latest. I think the one that may be the one that we'll hear latest about is the Digital Connections Infrastructure one, that one there, but I would hopefully by January or February.
Okay.
That one there actually doesn't close out. We would have much of next school year to spend that money, I believe.
Correct. What
Yeah.
happens with, through the chair, what happens with these grants, because there's state fundings that come through, they don't get assigned directly into the fiscal year that the grant is actually awarded. So if they, for instance, do the evaluations, they do the grant accruals, say for instance, the first week of February, they allot that amount to us. Unfortunately, to try to force a school district to spend that within a matter of 2 or 3 months, especially when you have to go through the next planning stages and so forth, doesn't give you the necessary time. So usually you're allotted an additional extended period, or for instance, a full fiscal year to actually spend those monies of the grant. With that being said, if it is provided to us in February, for instance, we would more than likely have through the fiscal year 16 to actually utilize the fundings provided.
And not beyond that?
Usually what they try to do is, because these monies are state monies in some fashion or another, they usually provide these stipulations for in essence, a full fiscal year or for a 12-month period normally. And so that way it allows for them to be able to identify if they provide us, say for instance, $100,000, just rounding our figure, and we in essence end up only spending $80,000 of that, we would then have to reimburse per se, or based on the request of the fundings to offset the expenditures that we've incurred. That would allow the state to then see that there was still $20,000 remaining in that grant for them to reappropriate in whatever means necessary for the state funding stuff.
I don't think we'll have a problem spending.
Hypothetically speaking.
Through the chair, if I may, that academic support grant of $6,700, would that be for software or personnel? Or?
That's actually, through the chair, that's for personnel, for actually to provide tutoring. It sometimes can occur during the day if it's on a block that a student is not assigned, or after school, or
Or
even
after
before
school.
school. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Good question.
The next item I wanted to share with you, the Southern Worcester County Educational Collaborative, that we were notified recently that the business manager took a job in a neighboring community, and the executive director has resigned. We have hired an interim director. So we're meeting next Friday on December 12th. We're having an annual audit, and a full report will be provided in an upcoming meeting.
Any questions?
very pleased to share with you Mike Fields. He's the executive director of the French River Education Collaborative, and he notified us recently that their board of directors has agreed to continue with the Teach Point program. That's a software program that we use for our educator evaluation. It has been enormously helpful. We are able to use it on our iPads as well as our desktops or laptop computers. Has really helped, I think, in the transition and in the implementation of this. But as you can note in here, it has saved us. So by the support from FREC for the next 3 years, upcoming 3 school years, that actually this would be, as he noted here, in addition. So $282,000 approximately, that's for all of the member towns, not just Auburn's, and that's in addition to the $212 that was the first cost. So almost $500,000 to all of the communities, and I believe there are 14 of us that helped us save that we don't have to fund through our budget. So
That's
wanted to make you aware
Excellent.
of that.
Through the chair, does the French River get its money through a government source, or?
What we do actually through the chair is, we belong to the French River Education
Right.
Center, so there is a $4,000 annual fee for that.
Okay.
That is where Mr. Barber, Mr. Fahey, and Mr. Garno, they put together bid packages so that we're buying more in bulk. They also offer an awful lot of professional development,
Right.
and they offer those in the school, so that the money that they get for that, those are the different funding sources that they're able then to turn back to the communities
Oh,
that support them.
Now, this funding here, Dr. Brunel, does this cover any type of training, or does this just cover the program itself?
When this was first brought in, French River did sponsor trainings that we actually went to Oxford for it the first time, but all of our staff has been trained, and then we take care of that internally with new staff. The budget kickoff in here, I did leave for you at your seats. We just received notification today that, and as Mr. Hussey may have announced, that will be held 1 week from this evening at 7 o'clock at Town Hall. So Mr. Kazanovich will have some guidance for us that night. The next item in your packet was the educator evaluation, the summative ratings that were assigned. And what I printed out for you, you may have seen it in one of the local media outlets recently. This is the information from the last school year, the 13-14 school year, and separates it out by school and by district. And for you to note that this is based on percentages, not actual numbers of individuals. And anywhere that you see that there are asterisks, that means that all persons within that group earned that same rating. So they did not then designate it. So they want to protect confidentiality. They only separate, and if they were below, I think, 10, they wouldn't report on that, because otherwise you could identify who the person was. So I can tell you that in the Auburn Public Schools, we have implemented the educator evaluation program with great fidelity and integrity. We really are committed to continually trying to improve, and I compliment the teachers, the school nurses who participate, as well as all the administrators. It's a lot of work, but we believe it's a worthwhile process.
Through the chair, if I may, I read through this at home, and I just wonder what became of, like, in the unsatisfactory column,
Mm-hmm.
the 1% or the 4%. Are they given improvement plans, or what happens?
So,
someone
the
is
state,
deemed-
dictates that pretty clearly. So it really depends whether a person has professional status or non. But the options could be a 1 year, they call it a 1 year directed growth plan, or it could be a 2 year. Generally, they're self-directed plans. If in any area they score below proficient, then it would be, there'd be more oversight by the administrator.
Okay.
So, but I'm happy to say that, and this is really a shift for us and across the state. There's some summary data from across the state here, that the state really said, proficient is really the new bar, and that we should look to see needs improvement as being, we all have areas that we need to improve. Maybe not in every area, but, different ones each year. So, but we're committed as a district to supporting individuals to continuously improve.
All right.
Without putting a number on it, Dr. Brunel,
Mhm.
could you speak to how many professional status teachers were unsatisfactory? Is that an issue in the
Zero.
district?
There were
Okay.
0.
Excellent, that's
Yeah.
the report that I was hoping
Yes,
to get.
yeah.
And publicly.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct, there was 0. And even these percentages make it appear that there were more.
Yeah.
But we have, fairly small numbers of staff. And I will say that, some of our non-professional staff in the first year or two of their teaching need more support, which would be expected. So, but 0 in the professional. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Oh, if I could ask one more question. When they get unsatisfactory, is that overall, or is that just like in an area?
These are summative, so this is overall.
Overall,
This
okay.
is overall, yes, yeah.
Thank you.
The next item, this, I just don't know that I shared it with you last year. For those of you who are on the committee and those not, I was part of the Mass Association of School Superintendents Finance Task Force. And I didn't believe that I had shared it with you previously, but it's a helpful piece of information, I think, in terms of, the challenges with the money, the support that we, that has been diminished over time due to the fact that, if insurance costs and special education costs, for 2 examples, continue to rise, and in the same stead, the support that we receive from the state doesn't, well, then it falls more on the local level, obviously, and things. So there were recommendations in here, so I really share it with you as an FYI.
Are there any questions? I have one, Dr. Mel. How much time would you figure that you put into the Mass Finance Task Force?
That was a group that met last year, throughout the year, so I'm gonna guess maybe 20 hours or so of time. I mean, it was a large group of us that met, but yeah, I would say probably 20 hours or so.
Okay, that's meeting with them and working behind the scenes, kind of looking over the material.
Correct, yeah, correct.
Okay. I'm just gonna ask that from time to time when I see things like that, different things that you're doing. That's a
Sure.
good answer, thank you. We now move on to unfinished business.
So, the MSBA Accelerated Repair Project, as you know, we've got the Bryn Mawr and Auburn Middle School roofs and the middle school boiler project. So, Mr. Fahey, Mr. Barber, and I met with Mr. Martin from Skanska just yesterday, and everything needed to be submitted by today, and it has been submitted to MSBA in time for their January 14th board meeting. So we will know on January 14th whether we have been accepted. As you know, it's been a step-by-step process. I believe that the package that has gone forward is very comprehensive, and I will tell you that there is, Mr. Fahey and Mr. Barber and I will be meeting in the next couple of days. We may need to look to do one more transfer of CIP monies to be able to support this. But should all 3 of these projects go through, we received a reimbursement rate of 54.16%, a little better than the 50%. But based on the overall anticipated costs, it will be well over $1 million that the town would save.
Wow.
Well over $1 million. So, and I don't want to get too specific in case any of the bidders are listening. But, we want the bids to come in low, but I think we would be saving well over $1 million.
That's wonderful.
SBC, we held our last meeting on the 17th of November. They were very generous in supporting our FF&E, our furniture, fixtures, and equipment budget that will supply the copiers, the iPads, the desks, the chairs, all of that material for the school. So I believe, and we're having a meeting on that, I believe that's next week, that we will be able to have that school fully equipped, which is the goal to get started. And I also want to share, on Wednesday, just prior to Thanksgiving, Mr. Fahey and I went over to do a tour through the school, and this will come to SBC when we meet on the 16th. They are at the stage, I shared this at the PTO meeting last night, that they have done in each of the classrooms at least one accent wall. So we have one quarter has like a blue, one is a deep green, and one is like a goldenrod, which will really help the kids, I think, in their transition there by the grade levels. But they've got the classrooms almost all drywalled. They're building that section of the building first. They continue to make really great progress. So we are very much on time and still on budget or under budget, I would say, quite honestly. The master plan team, we were originally going to meet on the 17th, but there really was not an awful lot to share. I do want to announce that both Mr. Ringard, Mr. Miller, and Mr. Fay have been working diligently behind the scenes with the architect Nault that had been hired. That will soon be going out to bid. That'll be the lower level redo of 10 Swanson Road, as well as upstairs. And they've got a great project set in place, and that is with the funding that town meeting already reappropriated or approved of $1.8 million. So we're staying within that value. As I had shared with you, the budget reduction scenario is based on the fact that we just received direction tonight. We'll be presenting that on the 17th, but I would ask, because as a leadership team, we've already met a couple of times to look at the budget, and as Mr. Kazanovich had indicated, there are some factors obviously that remain to be seen. Since my tenure as superintendent, we've had the same governor in place. We have a new governor who, as any new leader, brings in his new priorities. So I think we'll need to get some more direction in terms of what will be coming from the state. It's a challenge, it's a unique year that we're combining two schools together. That's something that we've not had to do before. We've also got money set aside, as I announced tonight, and you are aware, for the minimal upkeep and heating. We don't want these buildings to freeze or have problems of JB and Mary D. So I'm just looking for more direction from you. You heard from the administrators about new positions that they'd like to see. We've actually drafted reduction scenarios that start at the 3.92 and bring us down to about 2%. When we bring the two schools together, there is the potential for some efficiencies and reduction of staff, and I'm looking for direction from the committee on, do you want to see that? Do you prefer not to see that? Where would you like it to go?
Well, I asked to see it, but
Yeah.
on December 17th, I'm not gonna be able to make that meeting
Okay.
because I'm doing the Santa Collins show on cable for the kids, so I apologize for not making it, but I think it's a good cause and it's a good thing, and, I apologize. But I'll be at the next one.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I think I would like to see it, just to see,
Yes.
Okay.
the importance of
Yeah.
what position you,
Okay,
I guess weigh the importance rather of
Okay.
what would go and what would stay.
okay.
I think we need to see some scenarios, and certainly if it was, not that anyone deserves to be on the chopping block, but if it was someone non-professional, this is a situation that they're living with. This is it could happen whether we were merging or not merging.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I'd hate to see any professional staff go, and I know that could be a very difficult situation.
Mhm.
But, yeah, some type of scenario would make it a little easier.
Okay,
Otherwise, I'm comfortable putting forth a budget that supports the staff that we have now,
Mhm.
unless we see something to change my mind. And any comments? Follow that.
I just want to keep in mind the tax rate also, so.
Right. That's why I asked you, it's near a thought out, so we can look at it. Not saying that we're gonna sit here and cut everything,
Oh, God, no.
but to have it out in front of you is, I think, is a good way to go. And then you can make a decision from there.
Mhm.
And I personally feel this is my first year going through this. I think it would be an learning experience as well. So I think it would be good.
Absolutely. Well, we can certainly put this off a bit until we have something to look at.
Mm.
Any other comments? Okay.
The Quebec trip, and this actually is done generally in January, what Ms. Fridella, she came before you and received your permission to make this trip. And unfortunately, she does not have the number of students to make this trip viable. They need 40 students, and they only had, as of this writing, between 20 and 25. She mentioned to me that Leicester, and we've done some other partnering with the Leicester Public Schools with our professional development, they found themselves in the same situation. They did not have enough. So I authorized her to move forward in seeing if all the costs would be separated, chaperones would be separated, but just combine them for the purposes of making the trip viable. I don't yet know, but I wanted to make you aware. I'm hopeful that it will work, because the students who want to go and attend and benefit from that, I think it would be a shame for them not to be able to, if possible. So I just wanted to make you aware.
Seems like a nice experience for them if that can be done.
It does, it does. Yes. So, we didn't actually. I did, as requested, draft a memo. What you had asked was for a memo to be drafted that actually explains to Commissioner Chester that as a school committee and superintendent, that we are requesting to receive the information regarding the park pilot for the 9th and 11th graders. We did not get it for the students who took the pilot this past spring. So in your packet, I believe I included a copy. So if the letter meets with your approval, we can pass it around, each of us can sign, and then I will mail it into Commissioner Chester tomorrow. Yes, I do. I'm getting ahead of myself. Mrs. Dartner isn't, I need her here. The tour of the schools, we have scheduled that for December 8th. So, and I believe 4 of the members are going to be able to come. So if you want to let me know what time we can start at a school or start here, whatever's easier. We generally carpool and travel from school to school. I told the principals to expect us there probably for 40 to 45 minutes or so if we're going to try to get to all 6. I don't know that we made all 6 last year.
We're supposed to tell them.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, yeah. They'll kind of see us when we walk in, our entourage.
Teachers look out the window.
Yeah.
Right, I bet they do.
Yeah. So does 8 o'clock or 8:30 sound like a good time to start?
Fine with me.
I was gonna say, I sleep till noon.
Okay.
So if you give me a time, that's fine. It's up to me.
Okay. So why don't we say if we start here at 8:30? Okay, that would be great.
8:30 works.
I don't think
Okay.
she's joking either.
With 2 little ones, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think that's allowed.
We now move on to new business.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to announce that the annual tree lighting event will take place this Friday evening. Mr. Scobie is going to be saying a few words along with some other notables, and it's always been a nice night. The forecast, I think, is looking good. Last year it rained, but I will tell you, Santa still came, and I am hoping he will do so for the kids again this year. And if, with your permission, I'd like to just share, I left a copy of this at your seats as well. Received a public records request today from the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts, the ACLU, regarding our one-to-one technology program. And as indicated in the memo here, they are collecting information from a number of school districts on their implementation of their one-to-one programs. So we have a meeting, actually, this just was received today, we have a meeting tomorrow. Mr. Barber, Dr. Lezay, myself, Mr. Bouvier, and the principals of the middle and high school to gather this information, and we'll be sending it off. We have an obligation to send it to them within 10 days, so we will comply with that. And I will share with you if anything comes of it, but just wanted to make you aware.
Could you share with us right now exactly what that's all about?
You know, I honestly don't know. I can share with you that some of you may have read in a neighboring district, there was a concern raised by the ACLU regarding the as I understand it, and this is only from the newspaper, there was a concern regarding the distribution of iPads, and that some students had to pay for them and others did not. And they raised a concern about that. Ultimately, my understanding, again, through the media, was that the school committee of that district overturned that. We're not in that situation. We have provided the iPads to them. So my assumption is that they are on a fact-finding mission with a number of school districts to see how these implementations are going. So, you know, beyond that, I know only what's on the page here and things. So I will reach out just to try and get a better sense, but they're under no obligation to provide us more information than what they did, but if I hear any more, I will certainly let you know.
Okay. Wayne?
I just want to go back on the new business.
Well, if I could
Yeah.
follow up on what Dr. Brunel
Sure,
just
go
said.
ahead.
My daughter works in that district,
Mm-hmm.
and they solved it by just giving everyone an iPad.
Right.
they didn't go any, you know, they dropped the rules about you can't take it home. and
Right,
that. It was
right.
just the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but Auburn we already do that. So.
right.
Any other comments, Dorothy?
Just to confirm, we absorb the insurance cost that's associated with it. Am I right in saying that we
No.
had to, each family had to at least do a deposit for insurance?
So through the chair, each family was asked to pay $40 for insurance, which would provide full replacement cost for the iPad should something happen to it, and signed an agreement. We did allow a waiver if a family expressed a need through free and reduced lunch.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that all on that subject? Wayne, new business?
I just want to bring up the Santa Claus show again, is that we're going to have the Santa Claus call-in show on December 17th from 6 to 8 on channel 191, and that's cable, and have all the children to call in, talk to Santa while he's in town. Thank you.
Okay, I just have one item kind of backtracking, but yet it is under new business. As we talk about opening the new schools or rehabbing and opening and moving around and merging, and I know we've talked about it before, having some type of a gathering or celebration. My question is, how is that going to work out? What I would like to see, and of course it's not my decision, but is everyone who had a part in putting it together, and I'm not going all the way back to the voters, but I'm talking about all the committees, including the Vote Yes Auburn Committee, some dignitaries, other than a complete open house where everyone's going to be there. Have we given any further thought to exactly how?
Yeah, so the recent tours that we went on, I want to say they were on the 12th and 13th of November. The Selectmen Finance Committee, School Committee, former members of the School Committee, a number of citizens who were very active in promoting the project were invited to come and take a tour, and a lot of them did, which was great to see. And actually, the progress from the 12th and 13th to the 26th is remarkable. So there will be, actually, I spoke at the District 2 PTO on Monday night, and there was a question related to this on the opening of Packagug when MDS students go up there, and 10 Swanton Road when JV and PAC students go there, as well as the middle school. So we are, as part of our planning, looking at really kind of like grand openings of these places to involve, as well as doing respectful closings of JV and Mary D. So all of that's in the works, definitely, to thank those people, for sure.
Okay. I think what I would like to see, and again, not my decision, but is one function, whether it was in one school gymnasium or the other, where we could have all of these people there and thank them, just kind of a small setting, coffee and something like that, as well as the dignitaries, which obviously play a big part in helping us out with our funding mechanisms, but really just to get to the people who don't usually get a lot of credit, and that this isn't a situation where I want to get up there and talk on the microphone about all the things I've done. This is for the people behind the scenes, the school improvement committees and the school building committees, and you name it, the people who don't get a lot of recognition. And I just think, in a somewhat personal 100-person setting or something, these people could get their recognition in one place, and we could show a video of the various schools and the changes that are being made and the improvements.
Sounds wonderful.
And I don't know how we would fund the piece of that where we provide snacks and coffee, but I'm sure we can come up with something. What do you think?
I'm sure we
I
could.
think it's a good idea.
Yeah, sounds good.
I have-
Yeah, even if, maybe the PTOs can help with that too.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Thank you. We have a commitment from the PTO.
I said maybe.
All right, thank you.
That isn't what we heard.
All right, moving right along. Business and financial. Are we ready?
Through the chair, included in your package, you'll see a current to-date or year-to-date budget report for yourselves. I've slightly modified the form of the report, so that way it allows you to kind of identify the grouping of the elementary schools first, and then those of the settings respectively of the central office. Hopefully, it's a little bit easier for you to kind of read through and to get a good grasp as far as where the costs are affiliated with the budget you proposed last fiscal year for us to use now. Do you happen to have any questions? Okay. Secondly, in your package, you'll see a listing of the fiscal year budget transfers that are completed as of right now that we're proposing. All of these do not need your approval process since they're all from the same series, but again, more from an informational standpoint as far as what we're planning on doing for transfers. Any questions on this?
No questions.
Okay. In addition, you'll see a report, a report regarding the MSBA and the payment request submission reports. This is similar to one from last month. The reports since the inception of the project through the report that was just submitted literally about 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, for the month of November. As you see down below, and for the payment request numbers 22, 23, those are the ones that have been submitted, but yet we're waiting for the reimbursements to still come through. But again, you'll see that for the November 20th, for instance, that there was approximately $3.1 million of expenditures on the for the month of November. And these numbers here, just for information purposes, those eligible project costs that we submit, those are the ones that are approved prior to us doing the submission by the school building committee. Any questions on this? Okay. In addition, as previously discussed in the town meeting a little while ago, there was information that was discussed by town's CFO regarding the budget's 9C cuts. The information that he provided was more predominantly for the town in essence. It really didn't have an opportunity for us to discuss the ones related specifically to the schools. The information that I'm going to provide, we don't have any direct information that really relates directly to Auburn. It's more or less what's being impacted by the state. The three sources that are primarily being related by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education that their directive provided is showing that there's going to be an impact to our special education circuit breaker. Statewide would be approximately $3.8 million. Again, not being able to identify how that would be allocated to the school districts. The charter school tuition reimbursement, which is projected at approximately $1.2 million, again, statewide. And then the regional and vocational transportation for approximately $18.7 million, again, district, statewide. At this particular point in time, and unfortunately with a handful of the unknown factors involved with a lot of these respective budget cuts, they probably won't be able to provide us a specific identification as far as what's the impact to Auburn at this particular point in time, or maybe not even for a little while, as some of these numbers could be changed, especially when you're considering the eligible factors for tuition and so forth, when costs might be increased or decreased versus what we're submitting through our related expenditures across the state. So with that being said, some of these numbers could be impacted where they might be reduced come the end of the fiscal year, but because of those unknown factors, they really can't give us specifics as of right now. Any questions?
No, I think you covered it all. Not that we know where we're going, but you covered it.
And
Hopefully soon.
As information is provided, most of us business managers have good resources from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, such as Jay Sullivan, and usually when issues come up, especially between our bi-monthly meetings that we have, usually he comes up and gives us presentations anyways to allow for us to have as much insight as possible prior to it, hitting the newspaper or being published in every other aspect. Usually he tries to give us insight so that we can make sure that we can identify it between obviously our respective school committees and superintendents to be on the same page. So.
Excellent. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Barber. Good.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I just want to note, too, that letters were sent to both Representative Frost and Senator Moore, who have really been very supportive of the schools, and just asking them to continue that support and minimize or prevent, if possible, cuts to education, including those Mr. Barber noted as well.
Yep, and they definitely are on board with that. Do we need to go into? We do not need to go into executive session. All right.
Now, what about that letter
That letter
about
we
Commissioner
have signed?
Chester to sign?
Yes, so that is, I thought I left an extra one here. I think I left an extra one at your seat. Yeah, you do.
Well, we can adjourn.
We can?
Correct?
You
I
may.
would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm
All in favor?
not sure the protocol here, but I did in fact find out the price of the bracelets. They're $2, and a couple members of the freshman class are the ones selling them.
Excellent.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
John. Good job.
Thank you.
That was quick.
The
turnaround.
miracles of texting, right?
I mean, I felt bad, but yeah.
Hey, you do what you gotta do, you know?
No,
It
you
was
had
a
to
good
get-
cause.
You had to get that in there. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good.